we got some big news coming for Boots Ennis. Finally, a big fight on the horizon. Well, I'm going to let y'all hear what his promoter, Eddie Hearn, had to say about Boots' next fight, who it's going to be, and when it's going to be. But before we do all that, make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's cook on it. So yeah, Boots, man, Boots had a rough 2024 because at one point he was one of the most liked boxers, other than the Terrence Bud Crawford fans. You know, y'all was on Boots' helmet, y'all been on Boots' helmet. But other than that, he was one of the most liked fighters that, you know, pretty much all the boxing fans love. Gave exciting fights, looked spectacular, especially after he came off of that Roman Villa fight, right? Everybody was high on Boots, right? But we know how boxing is. These fans will turn on you at a drop of a dime. Boots damn near became the third most hated fighter overnight, behind Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. But, you know, he was far, far behind them. It ain't even close. He ain't nowhere near being hated as much as them. But, you know, y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all seen it happen. And a lot of people was on Boots' helmet. And then it just got worse when they heard that he turned down a fight with Virgil Ortiz after putting on a not spectacular performance in his last fight against Karen. And that was a rematch. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was saying, hey, man, he definitely got to knock out Karen this time. After he didn't do it, y'all was on Boots' helmet, man. Y'all gave Boots hell. And, man, I gave my thoughts on that Karen fight. Was it his best performance? No. But I think Karen is better than a lot of people was giving him credit for. What boxing fans got to understand is that you're not going to just be able to knock out everybody. Some of these fighters are not going. Some of these fighters ain't going. And Karen looked like he one of the ones that just ain't going. You know, we got to stop hating on Boots and give Karen his respect, his credit that he deserves. So that's how I feel about that situation. But moving along, like I said, it got a lot worse for Boots when they heard that he turned down a Virgil Ortiz fight. I got on his helmet about that because my whole stance was like, you turned down a Virgil Ortiz fight, right? First, you said you didn't know nothing about it. Then your promoter came and said, yeah, you knew all about it, but you didn't want to take the fight because you decided that you didn't want to move up to 154. And so, man, just that whole ordeal looked real bad on Boots. And it looked like he wasn't keeping it all the way trill. He wasn't keeping it a buck. So, you know, a lot of fans turned on him. Then it was the Brian Norman situation. And so it's been a whole lot of situations that, you know, got fans turning on Jaron Boots Ennis, right? I'm not one of them. I'm still a fan of him. But y'all seen it take place. And my whole thing was like, man, the Virgil Ortiz, it was a bad look because you are not going to get no unification bouts unless it's with Brian Norman Jr. and the rest of them dudes at 147. They're not going to fight you to unify. You got Stanionis over there on PBC. Then everybody just split up. Like, it's going to be very hard for you to become undisputed. But now things may be looking a little bit better for Jaron Ennis because not only is he fighting again in April, according to Eddie Hearn, this is what's on the horizon. Y'all listen to this. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to give my thoughts on what Eddie had to say about this situation.
So last month, when we were down in Puerto Rico for the Paro Hitchens fight, I saw you going to work to try to make a unification fight for Boots Ennis against Amata Stanionis. You've talked about that a little bit this week about how you're trying to get that fight ultimately made. I mean, how far away do you think you are from that fight? How realistic is it that Boots Stanionis gets made in the first quarter of this year?
It's not made yet, but I'm pretty optimistic. I mean, I think that, you know, Boots is decent, but maybe mediocre performance against Jadazian has actually put him in a good spot, because it used to just be, oh, well, okay, give me the money and I'll kind of fight Boots and give my belt to Boots. Now it's like, well, actually, we might be able to beat Boots. And I think there's no doubt that the best champion in the division is Stanionis outside of Boots. I think that's the toughest fight. And I think he's the guy that, you know, I mean, I've been talking to Louis DeCubas about this fight for a while. Obviously, they're going to want to get paid very well. But, you know, the reality is that Boots turned down Ortiz and Teofimo Lopez fights for the pure reason of the only thing he wants to do is unify the division. And that's not about money. That's just about legacy and greatness of you know, capturing these belts. So we're on a bit of a mission to help him get that done. And we're closing in. We're not there yet, but I'm hopeful that in the next week we might be able to get some good news regarding a unification fight in April.
Puts a lot of pressure on you if he turns down Boots and Teofimo.
Yeah, it does. I mean, look, when we make those decisions, you know, we say, we're pretty honest and say, look, I'm not guaranteeing you a unification. I'll do everything I can to make one, but this is a bird in the hand scenario. The Ortiz fight is there now. The Teofimo fight, it's a poor offer anyway, but it, you know, that's there if we want to try and make it. But we'll go the other way, but there's no guarantees. But obviously, when they put their trust in you, it puts a lot of pressure on to try and get it over the line.
So if y'all heard what Eddie said, y'all thinking the same thing I was thinking when I heard this. Because at first I was like, oh, he about to fight Stanionis. They getting the deal close to done. But then when you continue to listen, Eddie Hearn is like, well, it's no guarantees. We're going to work on getting him to stay on this fight. I'm going to say this, man. Eddie better get him that fight, because Boots is going to be looking real, real bad out here. And Eddie going to be looking worse than Boots if he don't make that Stanionis fight happen. Stanionis has been on record saying that he wants to fight Boots. He want to get that fight done. I know that Stanionis is with PBC, but Eddie Hearn has said that he has a great relationship with Luis de Cuba that does the business for Stanionis and PBC. So, man, he got to get that fight done. Because I don't know if he talking about, yeah, he got Virgil Ortiz, man. Virgil got a tough fight coming up. Virgil might not even win his fight that he got coming up on February the 22nd. You know what I'm saying? He might lose that fight. So if he lose that fight, it ain't no way in hell he fighting Boots Ennis. He gonna be on a whole different trajectory. So Boots, man, his back is up against the wall. And I'm a Boots fan, but I gotta keep it a buck with y'all. His back is up against the wall right now. Boots, hey, be on Eddie Hearn helmet, man, because he gotta get this done. Now, Eddie is saying that he know that he gonna have to overpay Stanionis, and they asking for a lot of money and things of that nature. Man, you gonna have to pay him what they asking for, man. Real talk. Because your only other option is to sit back and wait on Brian Norman Jr. because my man Brian Norman, he got a fight coming up, and you know, you gotta wait on him. So that would push the fight with Boots back, right? Because he got a fight coming up. So that'll push the fight back to, I would say, you know, maybe June, July. And Boots will have to sit on the shelf all that time. So, man, Boots, man, you're in a tough position right now. Hopefully, they can get this Stanionis fight done for April. Because if not, it's getting real ugly. It's getting real ugly. It's about that time. Boots he got over 30-something fights. He needs a big name fight. And Stanionis ain't the biggest name, but he a solid name, and he is a champion, and it will be a unification bout. Hey, man, let's keep our fingers crossed that Eddie can get this done. Let me know how y'all feel about this. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.